It's another stellar week for the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And I don't know about you, weren't you sort of kind of blindsided when they said, and on the season finale, I was like, wait, just when it was getting good. Look, since we've just recapped Real Housewives of New York City and their Anguilla trip, that really just was not entertaining. It wasn't entertaining. It wasn't interesting to me. I still enjoyed the reboot of Roni. I just did not love their cash trip, and hopefully they'll be able to get it together for next season. But these ladies, even with a newbie on the, you got two newbies on the cast, and it still was an enjoyable episode to watch. There's a lot to unpack. I didn't take stellar notes this time around. Woo, woo, woo. Y'all will be fine. Just because I was just like, okay, I'm trying to do so many things at the same time. But at the same time, I want to watch the episode. I want to enjoy the episode. I don't want our recaps to become like homework for me. And that's what they have been coming. So for 2024, I'm going to start my New Year's resolutions now. For 2024, of course, I want to take some notes so I can remember play by play for certain things, but not the extensive notes that I've been taking over the last year or 2 years. And also, I'm not recapping stuff I'm not enjoying. So if a 1 week an episode is terrible, I'm not recapping it. Just saying. That is my goal for 2024. I think it's always great at the beginning of a new year. I don't know if I necessarily believe in resolutions. I feel like you can make a resolution at any point in the year or any point in your life. But I just feel like I like a new year because for me, it's sort of like a restart. You know, a restart both when it comes to your finances, because you got to do your taxes, but a restart because, okay, now we're moving from the fall to now like the deep part of the winter and then getting ready for the spring, a renewal. You know what I mean? Maybe I'm just, wishy-washy, whatever. Guys, let's talk about this latest episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. Don't forget, you can hear an audio version of our live recaps and additional special episodes like the one we did this week talking about Mariah Carey. Sidebar, did you hear that Mariah Carey and that man, after 6 or 7 years of being together, broke up? Well, I kind of got a clue of that when we didn't see him during the Christmas tour. I'm so surprised that now that story is being put out there, and I wonder if that's Mariah putting the story out there. She's like, let me get this out there because I'm ready to move on. I got someone in my, peripheral right now. Maybe. So we did a special episode talking about, should Mariah leave Christmas behind next year? Please share your thoughts on our social media as well. But let's first get into this Real Housewives of Salt Lake City recap.
Won't you listen to me? I got that flavor. I know you're dying to feed. I ain't no dancer, just got some hip in my feet. Now throw your hands up. Ooh, you bring the lighter. I got the fuse. You make a fire. I'll add the fuel. Follow me, lead it. Just watch your shoes. Gotta turn the heat up to get this cool.
Welcome back to the Kempire channel, your number one source for pop culture news and music, entertainment, reality TV, and so much more. As always, don't forget to like the video. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to share your thoughts and ratings on the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. And if you're listening to this, don't forget to give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. I'm trying to get to 500 reviews on both Spotify and on Apple because I know a lot of you listen because the numbers don't lie. You guys are listening, you're downloading, you're sharing, but you're forgetting to rate. Please rate. Let's get to that goal. That's my New Year's resolution. Can you guys help me? Thank you. So this latest episode of The Real Housewives of, I would say Potomac, nope, Salt Lake City, was good. I think I would actually rate this episode a 9. I think this was first of all, I think I would rate the season. I'm not going to give it a 10. because I could have used a little bit of more Mary Cosby towards the end. But I will give it a 9. I think the season overall was good. They have found themselves again. Give them all a raise, especially Monica. I know some people do not like Monica, but look, being a great housewife doesn't make you likable. It makes you interesting to watch. Do I think that Monica is stirring the pot? Do I think Monica is already finding her way as a pot stirrer? A little bit. But do I think that Meredith has been sort of trying to use Monica to do her bidding? Yes. So this episode really was all about Meredith until the end. Look, until the end. But at the top, because I almost completely forgot that Heather and Monica got into it last week, and it was probably because Heather is still, and Angie said exactly what I said last week. I think she's still sort of unpacking growing up. She was born into Mormonism, so she's still unpacking some of the self-guilt and things like that she still has within her. I still think it was inappropriate for Monica to ask about her daughter's sex life. But playing these games at the table with other wives and things like that, and then arguing over, oh, you're still married, and this one's senseless. But they try to put that to bed at the top of the episode. They go for a walk and they talk about it. All right. They talk about that. And then they talk about Meredith possibly creating fake accounts. Look, I mean, she's been accused of this before. So this is part of the reason why Monica does believe that Meredith sort of used her to get this out there. And for me, that makes a lot of sense. Even though they joked in this conversation, Heather and Monica, oh, did you create this fake account and send yourselves the DMs? I feel like that would be a reach. It's not impossible. Don't get me wrong. It's not impossible. But if she did do that, Monica, like, that would be a bit too much. But what a lot of people have been saying is like, why would some random account, fake account, reach out to Monica and she hasn't even been on the show yet? That wouldn't make any sense. The only person or people that would know that she's on the show are the cast and producers. Would I put it past producers doing the same? No. I think sometimes we forget that there are other people involved in regards to this, that other people are invested in making sure that this season is a success, especially after last season not being a great success. Just saying. So I know that they were desperate to kind of really bring it back together. And I think they did, right? I think that they did. Shout out to the producers. Shout out to Shed Media. Are we doing shout outs? Not us doing shout outs. Oh, Lord. All right, let me put my little scroller up. Look, let me put my little scroll up. There we go. Guys, don't forget for the holiday season, because I have to keep reminding you because I don't want you to miss out. You can still, because I know there are certain relatives and boos that you're not going to see until after Christmas, so you have a little time to play with. Well, don't forget, we have a partnership with Illuminate Apothecary. They're giving you a 15% discount with the discount code Kempire until Christmas. And our friends over at Rose Forever are also giving you a $40 discount with Kempire 40. Plus, you can use the discount code Influencer for free worldwide shipping. More information on both Illuminate Apothecary and Rose Forever will be available in the description. And as always, you know I always have my coldest water bottles. Some of you have one of the coldest water bottles for yourselves during our 12 days of giveaways here on the channel. So congratulations to you guys that have won something. But you can also get something for yourself at Coldest. Kempire 10 for 10% off of your order. All right, so back to this. So Heather and Monica really come to they understand what housewives are supposed to do on this show. Forgive and move forward. Forgive and move forward for now. But as you already know, we saw that recent interview that Heather did, and she said she will not film with Monica. Maybe we will agree once we see the reunion and once more information comes out based off of this preview for the season finale. Shout out to the editors that edit Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. I don't know if they edit other cities. I beg to differ, because the way that Salt Lake City is edited, I would be shocked that they edit any other city, because I'm like, well, y'all put your foot in Salt Lake City. The way that it's edited, I've said this before during our season 4 reviews, it's so cinematic, it's so dramatic, it's done so well to me, and I get it because I edit my own videos and things like that. And it's an art form. And some videos are more enjoyable to edit than others. And then when you really are in your bag of editing, you're like, oh, everything is just coming together. Oh, it's like, it's magical. It's really like art. An artiste. Shout out to the editors. Okay? They don't get enough shout outs. Just saying. Because they're so important. They're so important. Anyways. So Heather and Monica learn to move forward. And Monica says, like, I don't want to fight with you. And we don't want them to fight either. Literally, I don't want them fighting right now. I feel like they're better together than apart. Like, I want to see Heather and Monica build a real friendship. I could see that friendship being bigger and fun to watch on this show. Better than what we saw with Jen Shah and Heather. Because I felt like that was a friendship of Heather was sort of like following behind Jen. I feel like Monica and Heather could actually have a peer-like friendship. It's unfortunate that now these lawsuits are involved, so that's where it gets sticky. All right. That's where it gets sticky. Whatever. Meredith calls Seth just to let him know that she feels like everyone's coming for her, and they were. They were, because even Whitney, because I thought Meredith and Whitney were in a good spot, but as soon as they started talking about this, possible fake account, Whitney's like, well, I have to agree. I mean, I feel like last year you used me. So it's like Whitney, I don't know if Whitney is just trying to be a fan favorite or she's just trying to really work for her check. I don't know. That's what I got, especially towards the end with her stirring the pot with the reach that she was reaching for. I mean, I can appreciate it, but it feels very performative. Whitney's behavior feels performative, and I think the reason why it seems even more performative because of how she explained it during Ultimate Girls Trip about her beef with Heather, and everyone was like, so you did this because of the show? You did this, like what was your motivation? So I'm always looking at Whitney now with that sort of eye, like, are you just doing this to be like, I don't know. I feel like a lot of the housewives are always sort of like trying to, be the network favorite or trying to suck up to Andy. Like it's kind of cultish. Look, the Bravo universe is a little cultish. Just saying, in my opinion. Anyways, speaking of Whitney, so Whitney and Angie played tennis. I know I'm giving you a rundown, a play-by-play of what I watch. But then after this point, I'm going to just mash it all together just because I literally was doing a bunch of things as I was watching the episode. So I remember what happened because I kept on rewinding. I was like, what? What'd she say? Who? What? So Whitney and Angie, they end up playing tennis. Whitney is something, she surprises you. Like when she hit the ball for the first time, I was like, damn. What in the Serena Williams? I was like, okay, she's a bag full of surprises, Whitney. So Angie pretends to play. She pretends that the ball is Meredith. All right. Whitney tells her that she's upset with Heather. I don't know. Did she tell her, or she said in her confessional? I can't remember. But she basically in this moment says that she is upset with Heather about mentioning her in her book. And her taking these very intimate photos for her husband, Justin. So this is where we're sort of getting the foreshadowing of what we get at the end of this episode. All right, so they're in Bermuda. And look, the fact that these housewives have never been on an out-of-the-country trip, a part of this city, and this is their very first time, like seeing them do these different activities, I'm happy for them. You could tell they're sort of like, yes, we're out of the United States and we're actually doing something. My hope for Salt Lake City and for some of these other cities, I don't know if the budget is just tight, but Beverly Hills is going to Spain this season. I want to see a little bit more of that. You know what I mean? Like, where should Salt Lake City go next? Okay, we went to the Caribbean. Maybe Europe. That would be cool. Potomac, I would love it if you guys went, somewhere else. Look, somewhere else. I mean, didn't they go to Portugal at one point? I don't know. The trip's got to get better, but I get it. Bravo's on a budget. Very, very much on a budget. Okay. So, what else happens in this episode? All right. Why was Monica shaving her legs in the? Have you guys ever done that, ladies? Because I don't shave my legs clearly. Um, but just randomly, she's pulling out, shaving her legs. She's on camera. Look, she doesn't care. And the ladies are like, just don't start shaving your what in front of us. Look, these are the moments that Monica is the realest of the group. All right. I'm trying to play. I'm trying to remember everything in the sequence that they happened, but I'm not going to even play that game with you guys. I'm just going to talk about the things that stood out to me in this episode. Okay. So, Meredith. So they go on a yacht, not a yacht. A boat. Okay. So they go on this boat, and this is when they decide to confront Meredith. And Monica and Meredith have a conversation in regards to, their original conversation. And Meredith is like, I don't remember the way that you're recalling all of these events. Because according to Meredith, she is saying, she's putting out the narrative that I wasn't talking about or saying that Angie was doing, she was in the Greek mafia. I was telling you a story about what was happening down there. So she's sort of switching it up on Monica and putting it on Monica. Like Monica was the one who sort of kind of concocted all of this and was the one who was bringing all of this up. Literally, as I'm listening to Meredith say this, I'm like, Meredith, I mean, it's not impossible, because then for a minute second, I said to myself, is Monica stirring the pot? And then based off the preview for next week, is it Monica that Heather's talking about, or is it Meredith? Like, I'm thoroughly confused. Like, I really assume that big reaction that Heather has, and she's pushing producers and things like that, I really thought, I was like, oh, wait, this is when she finds out about the lawsuit. But maybe it isn't. I don't know if they've even confirmed what exactly we found out. But based on the preview, we don't know what Heather's referring to. They're calling people a bully. I don't know. It could be Meredith. It could be Monica. Based off the preview, it's hard to tell. But based off what Meredith is saying, I can see why Monica really, the only ally she had at this reunion was Mary Cosby. I wonder if Meredith and Monica are good now. I don't know, but it felt like the entire cast, especially at BravoCon, were icing her out. So who knows? But Meredith is making it seem to Monica, she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. That's not how it went. So Meredith is doing a lot of damage control. She ends up going to Angie to try and soften things up with Angie. She's just like, oh, I never said, I'm not scared of you. I never said it like that. I'm not trying to take you down, blah, 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 blah. So I'm watching this and I'm thinking to myself, Meredith is really trying to work the room. She's really trying to work the room. But before that, I think it was before that. See why I take notes? Which is fine. But Meredith and Lisa get into it. Lisa goes off on Meredith. Meredith, this is what you do. This is we know that you're the one doing it. Stop trying to change the situation. And then people are like, well, Heather is like, why aren't you guys equally mad at Monica? Because Monica was involved as well. And they're saying, well, Monica at least owned it. Meredith is not owning it. So Meredith and Lisa are going at it, only to fast forward when they're back in the Sprinter. Meredith and Lisa are like nothing happened. So Monica's just like, what is going on over here? They're taking selfies. Meredith is telling Lisa about some sort of, I guess maybe an agent or something has signed Brooks on or wants to sign Brooks on her son. And so she's telling Lisa about it. And honestly, it's this level of delusion and moving forward that works for Housewives, because if they didn't, we would probably not be entertained. We would be watching Real Housewives of Potomac, where they're not able to move forward or have this level of delusion and understand we're just coworkers. Okay? But Meredith and Lisa, they have a real friendship. And later on in the episode, Monica's just like, I don't understand this dynamic. You guys are fighting one minute, and then in the car, you're like laughing and giggling and taking selfies with each other. Why does Lisa have 28,000 selfies? I don't have my phone here. It's because I was like, wait, I need to look. How many selfies do I have? I don't take that many selfies. I definitely don't have 1,000 selfies. Whitney has, I think, like 7,000. Okay. But Monica is thoroughly confused by Meredith and Lisa and how they're able to just sort of like fight on the boat. And then in this particular instance, Meredith is talking about her son. They're laughing. They're like, oh, like nothing happened. And I get why it's confusing to Monica. Because, yes, we are just delusional in this whole world of Housewives. So we're sort of like, sounds about right. Sounds about right. But for Monica, she's just like, Lisa, you went off on her. You accused her of fake accounts. Like, it's such a damning accusation. And now we're all laughing and kikiing. Monica is confused. But also, Monica probably feels left out. Because Monica's like, not everyone's not mad at her, but in some shape or form, her friendships with everyone is still sort of a little on thin ice. But Meredith and Lisa can get along and laugh and kiki and take selfies together. She's confused. And we are too. But Meredith knew what she was doing. Meredith is a master manipulator in this episode. You see it because everyone was turning on her. Whitney's like, oh, she did it to me last year. Lisa's like, yo, you did it. And she believes she did it. And I really thought in this episode, Meredith was going to be like, she was going to fall apart. She's going to be like, oh my God, I feel alone. Nobody likes me. Oh no, she worked this cast and they are all putty in her hands right now. All putty in her hands. Because I really thought this episode was going to be the episode where Meredith falls apart and just like, I can leave. But no. She even went to Angie. Angie, of all people, who she has not gotten along with this entire season. She even went to her to try and simmer things with her. She worked that room. And she really tried to throw Monica under the bus and put the weight of what was said about this Greek mafia on Monica. Because my thing is, you have Lisa and Whitney saying, you did it to me. But still... that's a master class. I can't even hate on it. So Whitney says, because Monica's birthday was ruined with all the fighting and things like that the night before, let's go somewhere else and, have a drink and have a good time. So they end up going to have a drink and have a good time. Oh, sidebar, just rewinding. I think it was Whitney that said this about Lisa, because Lisa has been a little off and things like that. So she's talking more about how maybe because her son is about to go away. So Lisa does talk about how, her being away, like she's like, it'd be nice to come back to Bermuda, but right now, like I'm thinking about my son and like this time I'm here. Because remember, this is work for them, really. Like this time that I'm spending here, I could be spending with Jack. And I really feel like Lisa loves her boys. No matter how you feel about Lisa, you can say Lisa's shallow, whatever. I think she really loves her boys. And that this is truly hard for her this season, that he's made this decision. And he's already in Colombia right now as we speak. So it will be interesting to get an update on how she feels about this now. Because he's going to be doing this, for the next 2 years? And who knows? Who knows if he'll decide to come back to Utah or go somewhere else. And maybe she's concerned about that. But yeah, so the ladies at the end of this episode end up going to this bar and they're hanging out and they're talking. And Whitney brings up the fact that, Heather, you're a hypocrite because you're talking about Monica bringing up, your sex life and things like that. But you had no problem bringing it up in your book, writing about mine. And Heather's just like, what are you talking about? And to be honest with you, it was a reach. It definitely was a reach, but I get what Whitney was trying to say. Okay, I'm talking on offense. I get what she was trying to say because I feel as if Heather makes it seem like she can't talk about sex because she's not married, but you had no problem talking about someone else's sex life in a book, a New York Times bestseller, which she pointed out in that moment. But Heather gets so physically aggressive with Whitney, And I think if the cameras weren't there, it might be a totally different situation. But I see in this moment, she just wants to get away. And I don't know why she wants to get away. Why not just address it? Especially if you're like, that wasn't my intention. You knew about me putting this in the book. And this is clearly a reach. But she keeps saying that Whitney's drunk. Whitney's crazy. I don't know. Do you guys think that Whitney was drunk? It's hard to tell. I can never tell. I can never tell if somebody's drunk or not. However, I don't think she was that drunk. I remember earlier in the episode, she's already sort of laying the groundwork that, this bothered her, that you're using my sex life in your book. And then I had to think to myself, because I know some people are like, yeah, why did she have to include that in her book? But one of the things that's important to note that Heather says, this was their introduction to them hanging out and getting to know each other. This might have been before they even knew that they were cousins. So as she's telling the story of, look, and I haven't read the book, but as she's telling the story, this is sort of like, oh, this is how I met Whitney. So I understood it that way. But I know some people will be like, but why would she talk about her this moment? Well, she's saying that it's a story letting us know that this is how I met Whitney Rose. All right. But her reaction was so over the top, and then she's getting aggressive and she's like trying to get out, and then Whitney won't let her out. So in all fairness, it's hard to tell, but it looks like Heather gets aggressive with her, but Heather looks like she's like, I'm just trying to get out of here, and Whitney won't let her get out. And then Whitney, very dramatic, is like, oh, I'm out my shoe. I'm shoeless. Hey, Monica. And as Heather leaves and slams the door, Whitney, because she wants to have a moment, she knows that this is going to be great television. These women are very calculated. They know what the producers and editors are going to use and what they're not going to use. All right? So Whitney decides to follow Heather. Heather is going outside trying to take off her mic pack because she's really upset. And I kind of want to know why I get why she got upset, but I don't understand why she would run away. Stand on it. Like, that was not my intention. I was telling a story about how we met. So why is this such a big deal? These two things are not the same. But maybe they are. And maybe you believe that they are. Replay crew, don't forget to let us know your thoughts on the latest episode of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and how you would rate the season so far. Are you excited for the season finale? That's next week. I can't believe that. Is it next week, they said? It's the holidays next week. Stay tuned, y'all. No promises on when I will be recapping or talking about that. That's literally when Kwanzaa begins, right? Because it's Tuesday and it's the day after Christmas. That's interesting. They might want to wait. Like, wait 2 weeks. But I don't recall if they said next week or in 2 weeks. Because as you know, Real Housewives of Potomac and Married to Medicine won't be returning until the new year. So a couple of things will be off this week. So, including me. So stay tuned. Look, stay tuned. But it was a good episode. And the preview for the season finale really got me interested. So I will be watching it. No matter what, I will be watching it. I might have to watch it a couple of times before I do a recap on it. Or maybe I'll wait till the new year to do the recap. But maybe that's when the season finale comes. I don't know. I didn't pay attention. You guys will let me know in the live chat as always. As always. Was there anything else in this episode that I wanted to talk about? It was just nice to see them in Bermuda. It was nice to see them having a good time. It was nice to just be entertained by them having a good time. That's why I didn't understand why that Roni trip was so It felt draining. It felt too emotional. But that's the thing. Even in Salt Lake City's trip, there's a lot of emotions happening too. But it's still interesting. It's still entertaining. And mind you, it's the same people that produce Shed Media produces New York. So, I mean, it's not the same producers necessarily. I don't know. I didn't take a look at the credits, but it's the same production company. But you already know, doesn't mean the same producers, same editors. Whoever edits Salt Lake City needs a raise for next season. You can use this, clip this, and send this to your boss. Give them a raise. Look, give them a raise.
Give them a raise.
Shout out to our King's Guards. Shout out to all of you that have become channel members. To become a channel member, head on over to teamkempire.com/join. And don't forget, we just announced yesterday that we have a second live show happening in Washington, D.C. on February 16th at Union Stage. So be sure to check that out. More information will be available in the description of the episode or the video. And don't forget, you can hear the audio version of our live content and additional episodes on the Kempire podcast. So be sure to check that out on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify. Everyone, I hope you all have a fantastic Christmas. Happy New Year. I hope you all have a fantastic holiday. Happy and healthy one, most of all, because I know we've seen a lot of sickness and just a lot of stuff happening over the, year itself. So wishing you all a blessed, happy, grounded, safe, magical, amazing, you know what I mean, wonderful holiday. Guys, let's get out of here. I will see you all in the next one. Bye, everyone.
Cool.